There's always a David versus Goliath struggle when you are up against the government. This outcome was not possible without the truly superb criminal defense attorneys who have so ably represented me in these past 15 months. I am also most grateful that the Government Accountability Project provided crucial whistleblower advocacy and media outreach support during this time, while also serving as my voice when I did not have it. I am worried that the next target of such a witch hunt will not be as fortunate. Living on the receiving end of a government prosecution is not easy, while also having my life examined under a microscope in great detail. I paid a very high price as a public servant for choosing my conscience over my career and blowing the whistle on government wrongdoing, exhausting all internal channels before going to the press for unclassified information. My life and those of 4 other colleagues were turned inside out and personally and professionally shattered as a result of becoming the targets of a multi-year, multi-million-dollar leak, quote-unquote, investigation led by the Justice Department. Our lives will never be the same again. The conduct of our national security establishment post 9/11, involving government contract fraud, torture, warrantless wiretapping, and abuse of power through executive overreaching cannot simply go unanswered. These issues of significant grave public concern that eventually came out in the press due to whistleblowers lie at the heart of lawfully protecting our liberties and freedoms, while also responsibly providing for the common defense and our security without compromising either. Upholding and faithfully executing the law of the land and defending the Constitution matters. Not criminally prosecuting public servants for the purpose of silencing the messenger and covering up the truth through secrecy. Looking backward and not forward by criminalizing whistleblowing and charging individuals under the Espionage Act also sends a most chilling message for anyone daring to speak truth to power or attempting to hold the government to account for its actions, only to have the government label them as a traitor or as an enemy of the state. In the end, I was just being an American who simply stood up as a public servant in defense of truth, justice, and the Constitution. I now look forward to getting my life back so I can live free again, knowing that freedom is never free. It requires eternal vigilance.
Okay, give your name for the record.
I'm Max Obuszewski with the Pledge of Resistance.
Say your name again. What is it?
The name is Max Obuszewski. I'm with the Baltimore Pledge of Resistance. We've been protesting at the NSA since 1996, and we believe Thomas Drake to be a hero, a whistleblower that was attacked by the government. It was evident by Judge Bennett's remarks today that it was a travesty of justice. His home was invaded in November of 2007. They did not bring an indictment down for 2.5 years. Imagine that. He lost his job. He also obviously was fired from the NSA, but he also lost his professor job. He's working in an Apple store right now. Many letters from those employees, from customers, came in to praise him. He had a very difficult life. He was very successful in life. And the judge commended the 2 public defenders because he ran out of money. He paid $80,000 to a private lawyer. He didn't have any more money. He got 2 public defenders here from the Federal Defender's Office. I personally had a number of these people in my cases with the NSA, and he thought they were 2 of the best in the country. And he thanked Mr. Drake. Mr. Drake has no pension, either from the federal government, from the military, was in the military, suffered tremendously. The judge kept asking who did this to him. The 2 prosecutors were brought into the case, have only been in the case since 2009. As you know, they dismissed a 10-count indictment. He was facing 35 years in prison, and the judge kept asking the prosecution, why was this brought on him? Who made these decisions? The lead prosecutor, Mr. Welch, could not answer that question. He says, I've only been involved in the case since 2009. I can't answer many of those questions. I don't know why. He also said that this sentencing statement is basically a regurgitation of the indictment. What's the purpose of this? If you're going to regurgitate something that you've asked me to dismiss today, which he did, the prosecution did ask for a dismissal. He did dismiss the 10-count indictment. I have to suspect, based on what I heard about Thomas Drake in court today, that he will be a survivor. It's criminal, though, that this was a whistleblower. They were wasting taxpayer money at the National Security Agency, and this guy was prosecuted. That's why my sign calls for an indictment of the director at the National Security Agency. Really, really ridiculous. This guy was put through the ringer. I think he's going to make it, but it's very, very difficult. He made just a very brief statement before sentencing, which was basically, I'm throwing myself at the mercy of the court, and my family has suffered tremendously through this ordeal. But the judge kept raising his point. Your house was invaded in 207. That's what this revolution was fought about. The British were coming into people's homes unannounced. Why did it take 2.5 years before there was an indictment? This particular prosecutor could not answer that question. The judge was making a lot of suggestive comments that this case was much higher than this prosecutor's office. Was it in the executive branch? Was it in the Department of Justice? This judge says all federal judges. He thinks he could speak for all federal judges that this is intolerable. The prosecution asked for a $50,000 fine, comparing him to Sandy Berger, who had much more means, and the judge says no, there will be no fine. There will be no fine in this case at all.
And what is your name?
My name is Max Obuszewski. I'm with the Pledge of Resistance, Baltimore. We've been protesting at the National Security Agency since July 4th of 1996. We're going out there in October.
Max, can you spell your last name?
It is Obuszewski. My first name is M-A-X. Baltimore resident. Been in this courthouse a number of times on trial and so on.
No whistleblower should ever have to endure. This man has been devastated financially, and certainly the stress of not knowing when you were going to be indicted. If you were going to be indicted for an entire 2 years, you can't do that in this country. And I was so happy to hear Judge Bennett really make the point and hit it home time after time when he was speaking to the prosecutors that this was not acceptable, it was un-American. So I am shocked that I'm standing out here and telling you that my faith in the judicial system has been a little bit restored.
And that's Judge Richard Bennett?
Richard Bennett. And he truly did the right thing in this instance. And I am so pleased at this outcome for Mr. Drake. Although he should never have been prosecuted in the first place, given that he was, this was a good outcome for him.
What is your name?
Oh, Maria, M-A-R-I-A, Allwine, A-L-L-W-I-N-E. I'm also with the Pledge of Resistance, and we have supported Mr. Drake. And yes, I have also been here for trials myself in the past. So.
And your name, sir?
Russ Tice.
And Russ, did you work at the NSA also?
I certainly did.
And how do you feel about what happened in court today?
I feel this was a farce. What happened today to Mr. Drake was designed to make sure that all potential whistleblowers know that if you do this, we are going to destroy you. We are going to destroy your life, and if possible, we're going to throw you in jail. That's what they did to Mr. Drake for just telling the taxpayers that NSA wasted over $1 billion of their money.
And that was really the crux of the case against him, that he came out and said, look, this deal is not in the interest of the taxpayers.
NSA wasted the taxpayers' money. NSA wanted to make sure the taxpayers did not find out about it.
And who was the director of the NSA at the time?
The director of the NSA was Michael V. Hayden, Air Force 3-star general at the time. And for doing that, and for what he did to me, and for literally spying on all American citizens, he was awarded a 4th star and made director of CIA.
That's the best.
So that's the wages of sin. And when you sell your soul to the devil pays quite well. The devil pays well.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thanks so much.